The commitments are piling up in the aftermath of the future games for PBR Georgia, a team that led the event in runs scored and the fewest runs allowed. That all has to make PBR Georgia scouting director Phil Kerber smile like a proud papa with the team that he helped put together. Phil, welcome in and congrats on an impressive showing at the future games.
Thank you, Corey. Yeah, I knew we were going to be able to hit. I was not expecting that type of offensive output, but it was a lot of fun to watch.
I mentioned the commits, and so far you've had Eric Guevara to Auburn, Cale Stricklin, and Ford Thompson to Georgia, and there's certainly going to be more to follow. How impressed were you with this team and its showing against some of the top uncommitted players in the country and Canada?
Yeah, it was simply awesome. Just awesome to watch, to be a part of. I mean, these guys competed every step of the way. They brought the energy, and when you bring all these elite players together, you never really know what the vibe is with the team. But these guys meshed almost immediately, and it made for a really fun atmosphere.
All right, so let's go through these guys, and let's start off with the position players, and kind of take us through what you saw from these guys and how you thought they handled the stage.
Yeah, I'm going to start with our middle infielders and a guy who I thought really, really excelled at one of the biggest stages, shortstop, right-handed pitcher, Rustin Rigdon out of Metter High School. He was a guy I got familiar with towards the end of the high school season when he was chirping me on Twitter for picking against his high school in the state championship. So I made it a point to, I'm going to kind of bear down on him in the beginning of summer, see what it's all about. And he did not disappoint all summer and really was at his strongest at the future games. I think his final stats were 5 for 6, 2 walks, 6 stolen bases, 4 runs scored, reached base in 7 consecutive at bats. His only out was his first at bat. So it was really, really fun to watch him. And the 6 stolen base thing really stands out because he ran a 7-1 during the workout, which means that he was just locked in on the pitchers and able to pick up some cues on their deliveries. So he was getting great jumps out there. I mean, 3 of those stolen bases were second to third, which just shows how well he was reading these arms. And then Colin Houck out of Parkview, he was part of the Future Games team in 2020, comes back in 21, and there's not enough that can be said about him. He makes the game look easy. And he doesn't do it in a really flashy way. It's just super clean and super quick. And he's another guy that it's been fun to watch his progression, especially at the plate now that he's driving balls with a real clean, easy swing. I mean, he's a dual sport guy too, standout quarterback. I think he's got a very bright future too. And then Eric Guevara, a guy we mentioned, already committed to Auburn, one of the best bats in the 23 class, in my opinion. Just everything he hits comes off the barrel hot. And in game 1, he had 2 singles, 101, 102 exit velocities on them. I mean, it's fun to see him step up to the plate and do his thing. Then we'll move to the corners, where we had Cade Brown, started him 2024 out of Parkview. There's another guy who's got some real power in his hands. He's still young, so he's still filling out, but just the natural strength in his hands and forearms, he's going to be a power bat to watch for the next few years. Once he starts filling out, man, the ball's going to start flying off that bat. And Ethan Sutton out of Alatoona High School, just a phenomenal two-way guy, one of the top two-way guys in the state. He could swing it for power, and then he gets on the mound and is equally as powerful there. He was up to 90 during his appearance. Wasn't his best outing, but the arm and the ability to spin a breaking ball are something that people are going to want on their program, and given the power at the plate. And then moving over to first base, we had 24 Cooper Johnson out of Mountain View High School, left-handed hitter, one of the probably prettiest left-handed swings that we had on Team Georgia and probably at the entire event. I mean, it's just really clean, easy. There's going to be a load of power in there. He's currently 6'3", 6'4", probably 180, and there's more growth in there, a lot more. So that bat is going to be another big power bat. And, keep an eye on him on the mound. He's topping 81 right now, but there's a lot of growth in there. There's a lot more strength to be put on. I think he's got a chance to also be a two-way guy. Then we have 2 other first basemen, Andrew Dunford, who immediately stands out. Out of Houston County High School, 6'7", probably 230, 240 pounds. He's a guy that walks in the park and you're like, who is that? Like, I want to know who that guy is. And he put on an absolute show during batting practice on Wednesday. I think he had 4 or 5 home runs. I mean, the ball just, it jumps off the bat in a different way. It flies. Then he carried that over into, I believe it was Friday, when he just blasted a home run to left center. And he told me he didn't know it was going out, and I told him that that was an absolute no doubter. Like, I think everybody in the stands knew that was going out, but he went hard out of the box, and it was fun to see that power come out in game. And then finally, Landon Stripling, left-handed hitting first baseman and right-handed pitcher. Landon, great week at the plate. Couple of singles, couple of sac flies. I think he had 5 or 6 RBIs, which is just, I think that led the team. I mean, he's got a real powerful left-handed swing that is going to play at the next level. And then on the mound, he's got the start in game 1, 85, 87, with just a nasty slider, something that hitters, I've seen it time and time again. Hitters struggle to pick that pitch up, and he's able to get swing and misses and freeze guys up on it. He had 2 scoreless innings, really good showing from him. And then we'll take it to catcher. We're one of our commits already, Cale Stricklin out of North Oconee High School, an elite defender in the class, and now we're starting to see the bat really come along. He was able to barrel some pitches, get some high exit velocities. You know, he's not afraid of velo. Almost won us the game against Florida. You know, it was we had that 1-1 tie, man on third, 2 outs, and he just barreled 90 to 93, dead center. Unfortunately, it was right at the outfielder, but that's just a taste of how the bat's coming along. I mean, facing that type of velo, he was on it. So it was really good to see out of him. And then Walker Barron out of IMG Academy. I know it's Florida, but he does have a Georgia address. He was a late addition, and I could not have been happier with having him on Team Georgia. Great behind the plate, 1.9, 1.95 during the workout, and then did a great job controlling runners. So he's aggressive with his arm. He knows he's got arm strength. And he was back picking guys at first. He was getting guys stealing. He was great defensively. And then at the plate, he was just hitting lasers during batting practice all over the field, and carried that over into gameplay, had a double and some other hard hit balls. And then finally, we'll take it to the outfield, which I thought we had an incredible group of outfielders. At the very top, you got to talk about Drew Burris, Houston County. Just the swing is just different. You know, it's aggressive, but it's under control. He gets all of the power in his frame out. He's not physically imposing guy. You know, he's 5'9", probably 5'10", but he's extremely strong. And when he whips that barrel through the zone, it's different. He had a triple and a home run, player of the game honors against Team Carolinas. He was another just an electric player to watch, a spark plug type guy. I mean, Zach Lyles out of Sonoraville High School, player of the game against Team Mid-Atlantic. And he was one of those guys that, on that workout day, some guys get nervous with all those coaches. And I thought he might have been suffering from that a little bit during his BP. Come game time, we saw the real Zach Lyles. He was able to get the barrel out front, show off those quick hands. He was, 4 or 5 singles, and he was using the entire field. And he's a guy whose speed plays way up in games too. He's a really, really good left-handed bat in this 23 class. Another left-handed bat, Eli Brown out of Savannah Christian Prep. Another guy, really, really high athlete. Ran a 6.8 in the workout, but I know his legs have been tired. He played a long summer and came just straight from a tournament to the workout. So I imagine that that speed plays up a little bit during game. And at the plate, he showed some power, showed the ability to put the ball in play when he needed to. And I was impressed by his swing and what he was able to do offensively. And then Garrett Garner out of Franklin County, he's a kid that oozes athleticism. He's like 6'3", lean frame, 6'7" runner, has a big arm, has a nice right-handed swing. He showed real good plate discipline, I thought, this week. Picked up a couple of walks, wasn't chasing pitches, and then had some hard hits. Fortunately, didn't come up with a hit, but you could see that he was finding the barrel and able to produce some hard hits. And then Reed Harvey, last edition, almost blanked right there, out of Thomas County Central. And he was actually added to the roster basically the day before the event. I had to make a decision. I was like, let's do it. And he did not disappoint. Had some loud contact during batting practice on Wednesday, and then got the fireworks started for Team Georgia on Thursday with a solo bomb. So that was awesome to see that play over into gameplay. And he's a good enough athlete where he can play corner outfield, can move into second base, third base, can be serviceable at shortstop. So he's really a true utility guy.
Well, so I had mentioned Ford Thompson from Parkview, obviously, is already committed to Georgia. How did you feel like your arms held up? I mean, this isn't just any lineups these guys are going against, and they more than held their own.
Yeah, they definitely did. And that's the thing, you kind of worry about is that these guys are facing elite hitters. They're going to be trying to throw strikes. What's going to happen? And we'll start with Ford Thompson. His outing was incredible. I thought he was one of the strongest guys to start. And, you take away, not trying to, no offense to Walker Barron here, he did have a throwdown that he pegged Ford right in the thigh.
Yeah, that was a moment.
He went on to walk the next three batters. So taking that out, Ford was extremely impressive. And the thing is that he runs his fastball up to 88, and then the curveball is 60 to 65 miles an hour, which is just, it's a crazy differential there. But he's able to keep the arm action and the arm speed nearly identical. So hitters have zero idea. The timing that they have to try and figure out there is just, I mean, it's got to be extremely tough to face a kid like Ford. And I mean, going with another lefty that I was extremely impressed with, Braden May out of Whitfield Academy. I thought he went 3 straight innings. I thought he was the most consistent across those 3 innings. Struck out 4 guys, 0 hits. I think it was 1 or 2 walks, 1 hit batsman, but he was able to spin 2 breaking balls, curveball, slider, 2,700 plus spin rates on them. And they're 2 different pitches. It's not like he was just taking a little bit off one to kind of create something different. It was a real slider and a real curveball. And then his changeup was money. I mean, it was like he was pulling a string on it and guys were just watching it go by. And not to mention he's 84, 87. He's a kid that's going to keep gaining that velocity. He's going to be a fun one to watch. And I think he's going to be a real get for someone at the next level. And then we'll go Blake Dean, right-handed pitcher out of North Cobb Christian. I thought Blake has some of the best stuff in the 23 class still on the board. Another guy that's 4 pitches, can get his fastball to 90, slider, curveball. Now, slider, he didn't have it really going for him in against Team Carolinas, but he's got that curveball in his back pocket, and that was really working for him. It was 12-6, dropping it in for strikes, getting swing and misses on it, and he was also showing a nice changeup. So 4-pitch guy, I really liked it. I thought he had a really good outing. And then from game 1, we'll kind of backtrack there. Landon Stripling, guy who talked about him earlier, he got the start and was really impressive. He was followed up by 2 of our POs, Cody Soliday, right-handed pitcher out of Irwin County. He was 84, 87, touching an 8, 9. But what really impressed me was the breaking ball. He throws it 76, 79, can really spin it, and it is sharp. I mean, if you go back and look at the video, he had numerous swing and misses on it as it was just taken off late in the zone. And he's a really good athlete, 6'8" runner. He's a kid that I think the field is going to keep going up, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. And then Jeffrey Hewer, another guy that you can't miss when he walks into a park, 6'4", 220 pounds, just a physical monster. He got 2 appearances in the event, went 2 innings against teammate Atlantic, 2 scoreless innings, and it was just pounding the fastball in there, topped out at 92, throwing his changeup for strikes, and then he's only just begun throwing a breaking ball in the past 2 weeks. So he comes in and is throwing the breaking ball, and I'm like, all right, this is awesome. You're confident enough to throw it in game at an event like this. That's what I love to see, and it was a really, really good showing for him. And then Peyton Doyle closed out that game. Peyton out of North Paulding High School, and you're going to get the kitchen sink when Peyton throws. He's using high 3/4 slot, dropping the submarine, coming to sidearm. And he's 87 from the high 3/4. When he's going submarine, 82, 84, and he's creating a ton of run down there. And he's also able to throw a slider from down there and change up as well as bring it up top. So you just have zero idea what's coming at you from him. And he was very effective, picked up 2 strikeouts in his 1 inning of work. And then finally, against Team Florida, we had Beau Rudy starting on the mound, and Beau's just physically impressive, very strong, very athletic kid on the mound. He's topping out at 90, and I don't know what he does with his fastball, but he's able to get some natural cut action on it. So left-handers, he's cutting that in on their hands, righties cutting away from them. And that's a tough, difficult pitch to deal with at 90 miles an hour. I don't think most kids are seeing a 90-mile-per-hour cutter like that. And it was really good to see that. And then breaking ball dropping in 2,500 plus RPM. And he was competing in the zone against a very difficult team, Florida team, which you want to see him do, and held them off the board. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 hits over the course of 3 innings. So that was fun to watch. And then,
you left out the best part with Jeffrey Hoyer, though, and that's that he came out with stuff up his nose because he had a bloody nose, and it didn't stop him from coming out there and still dealing against that Florida team. That was one of the most impressive things I think I saw all weekend.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I walked in the dugout in the 6th inning of that Florida game, and I'm like, there's Jeffrey sitting on the bench. There's just a pool of blood between his legs, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I got a bloody nose. I've never gotten one. I'm not really sure what to do. I'm like, all right, let's stuff some tissue up there. We'll figure it out. And he went out there as 87-90 in his second appearance. That's battling adversity, I'd say.
Yeah. You don't know what to expect if you got the kid. You're ready for anything when you got a kid coming out there having bloody himself up. So
and then there was 3 arms that just came into my mind that didn't throw for Georgia, but threw for Team Select, and 2 of them from Team Pacific Northwest. So Rustin Rigdon, who pulled position duty with Team Georgia, got the call for 2 innings against Pacific Northwest, and he dominated as a position player, and it was no surprise when he went out there and threw 2 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 hit against I believe it was Team Nevada that they were playing. I mean, up to 87, dropping in his breaking ball for strikes. It was like, what can't this kid do? It was on that stage to perform like that was really, truly incredible. And then Thorpe Musey closed out that same game. Thorpe out of Parkview High School, ho-hum, 87-90, 80-mile-per-hour slider. The stuff is electric out of Thorpe, and the arm action, its power. He just gets everything out of his frame towards home, and just does a great job carrying all that momentum. And I think for 2024 like that, to run it up to 90 and have a slider that hard, that's going to be something fun to watch as he continues to add weight and physically mature. And finally, Trevor Booten out of LaGrange High School got the call for Team Select. And Trevor's a guy that just screams projection. 6'4", 180, 185 pounds. And he's got that long frame. He does a great job of keeping the arm short, getting out front on his pitches, and really finishing them. And he was up to 87, showed a curveball and a changeup. And he's just when he starts adding some real muscle to that frame, it's going to be an arm to watch.
Well, Phil, the great thing about the feature games is they're never really over, because you can go back and watch all of it with LakePoint Live, powered by PlaySide. So get to LakePointSports.com and you can get all the information. Of course, make sure you're following Phil Kerber, PBR on Twitter, and PBR Georgia as well, to get all the fantastic work that they do. Phil, thanks and congrats again on a great showing and defending that home turf in the future games.
Thank you, Corey.